Having a good time. Having a good time.
Dancing with the bindings of Alpha, and he's got an anvil of mangling.
Only basic man of battery. That was the name of my high school ska band, actually.
We're back. We're back in Irby style. We're back inside Alma Gang.
There's a scene where Igor is walking with a backpack, and then you hear just faintly inside of it, "It's really dark in here."
We're gonna have to undo a lot of books to get you your papers.
Shouldn't there be some holes in here so I can breathe? That's not a problem. Be quiet. Don't worry about it.
You don't have to worry about that anymore. Go ahead and roll a d20 for me, unmodified. I just want to know if you are early, late, or on time for your secret coven. Okay, well, I got a 1, so you beat me. So do you want to be early, late, or on time?
I think I'm on time. Most everybody is late except for Thaddeus.
Oh, yeah. Like, and that's just
because he's Theodolphus, because he's like obnoxiously on time to stuff.
Right. Like, he got up early to eat breakfast, like in the first 3 minutes that, the kitchen opened. And then he just had somebody bring him down here, and he's just been waiting for 4 hours.
Yeah. And to be clear, by had breakfast, it was like someone like poured,
nutrient paste,
Parmesan cheese, really into his tank.
Not too much.
Theodolphus Krupp is the special military attaché for magical affairs, and he is a brain in a jar, covered in ribbons and medals of rank and honor. And if he could have his mustache in etched on the front of his tank, he would, but he's not there yet.
Yeah, and that does make me wonder if like he would ever expend magical energy to illusory mustache on the jar.
Maybe. He was always sort of a middling wizard. I don't know that he quite had that sort of imagination.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so you're the second one in. What is Theodolphus's voice like? Is it booming? Is it very like disassociated to the body?
No, he has like a little speaker, so it's kind of like
clicks.
The radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, his little Voxcaster clicks on.
Yeah. Says,
Knew I could trust you, boy. Knew you'd make it.
Professor Krupp, good special attaché. I was Colonel Krupp.
That's right, Colonel.
You think I lost this body just hanging around waiting for special assignments?
No, I've heard the story.
Well, you're lucky. You're gonna hear it again.
Oh boy.
And then by the time the story's over, everyone else is and everyone rolled their eyes the same, and they're like, "Yes, I remember this part."
How many Shantax was it this time, Krupp? Was it 10? 15? I've heard it go as high as 35. A full dozen. How modest of you, sir. How modest of you, Colonel. A mere dozen Shantax.
Oh, yes. So we have a Mistress Moonfork, an elven wizardess obsessed with magical gems. Probably replaced her eyes at some point, let's be honest.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely replaced her eyes with big magical gems.
Yeah, all right. And would you like to roll the reaction modifiers, or shall I?
Oh, you should roll them.
Okay, all right. Let me roll the reaction modifiers. So you're going to want to write this down, because you're going to want to know. There's going to be a special mini game that happens now. Now that we're interacting with Alma Gang in a really appreciable sense. Mistress Moonfork. So she's actually a little angry with you right now. I wonder if perhaps you had to expend some gems to sort of make this stuff happen with Wilbur. Maybe that's why she's frustrated.
Maybe. That might have had to happen.
But yeah, she is currently angry with you. Theodolphus is helpful, right? He's nice. one stage below the highest you can get. Egrith of Yalma.
Yeah, and she's the local professor of archaeology. She's a curator of the Hidden Museum.
Sure.
She's bedecked in stolen tomb gold and covered in living tattoos recovered from the bog mummy of an antediluvian druid.
Well, there's that. She is also indifferent to you. She's kind of middling. You could go either way. Next, we have Tragedy, which is a gold-skinned tiefling, a master of demonology and diabolic natures and contract law. Diabolism. Okay. Angry with you as well. Interesting.
Excellent. Probably about the devil.
Probably about that whole devil thing that you didn't bring back, right?
That might have been it.
We have one M. Monkfort, hooded most of the time, but the few times that you've kind of seen their robes removed, right? Sort of a bulging and muscular Alex Louise Armstrong kind of, right, spellcaster, very physical, but also Monkfort is above average shapeshifter.
Nice.
Yeah. Also indifferent.
Cool. Good.
Better than angry. There's actually one
That's
below
true.
angry, which thankfully you haven't hit yet. I'm surprised, but
Which is attack on sight.
yes, that is correct.
Excellent.
Money Branch, right? A Plutomancer who's the head of accounting and is actually one of your friends, so you're getting a bonus to this one.
Oh.
So he is almost friendly, which is probably the best way to frame the AP team, right?
And then Thornton Barclay.
Yes, and then Thornton Barclay. And he's got actually he is helpful.
Nice.
He is helpful at the same level that what was it? Theodolphus was. So that's the max you can start with.
Okay. All right. Cool.
So they've all sort of piled in, right? And there's this interesting coven people, right? Or all sort of standing there. In my head, I went back and forth on there being like some sort of master or maestro sort of, right? Like conducting this meeting, but I don't think that exists. Either they're not present or it has not risen to their level yet, and I'm not sure which.
The chancellor of the university is currently stuck in he's actually been turned into a being of pure light and is being refracted. He's just exists in a large assembly of mirrors, and we all just sort of do whatever we're gonna do because he's sort of been stuck in there for the last. Well, for us, it's only been a few years, but for him, it's been the equivalent of several trillion years.
Right. When he comes back, the stories he will tell, a great many ponderings.
Yeah, he's probably completely insane.
Yeah, we'll see. It's hard to say.
One of the two.
Yeah. So far, we've only dialed in purple and green. So
yeah. And it just doesn't stop screaming. It's very concerning.
Okay. So somebody sort of, bangs a comical little, like judge's gavel, right? Says, and see here now, we have seen that it is time to discuss. And they look around. Dravakus Zahn. Push across the. We all know what he has done. We all know where he has been. We now have a clear understanding of exactly what it is he has stolen from this university. And it sounded like Alberforce was saying something.
Yes, I will give to them a full and thorough report of the things that I have encountered. The sabotage to the watches, which I think was an attempt to install his deadly automaton among us for the purposes of attacks against us at a later date.
Right.
I have one of them here for us to study and analyze should the need.
Oh no. It's so sad. It doesn't want to leave you.
I present it as an example.
Yeah.
Yeah, I give them the Tinker Tune as I've copied it down and
nice.
Recorded it.
Okay.
I have that. I described to them the what else was there? Obviously the rain situation, the weather vortex, the frogs. We give them the serial numbers on the frogs. As like, has anyone checked in on the owner of these frogs? I think they've been purloined for his own sinister purposes.
Purloined frogs.
Now we know that he came to, what was the name of that town?
There was Visoka and Kalmus.
Visoka. He came to Visoka under the pretense that he was going to that he was they had sent for a wizard and he had come in response. So, and he had some form of paperwork, which makes me think that do we have any record of having received that communication or that request? And if so, who did we send? Because if that's the case, then that person might be in desperate danger. Yeah.
Okay. So I like that piece of evidence, right? Like everyone's sort of assembling their arguments. We've gone a little bit around the table at this point. And a few people. And let's see. Go ahead and roll Go ahead and roll a d6 for me.
Okay.
Because I'm curious who has that note, right? Because everyone's brought like their fair share of paperwork.
I got a 6.
Okay, so it's Thornton. So Thornton. Okay. Right, Thornton has a personal investment in this. I mean, many of them do. But one of the things that Zahn stole was actually the key to Exan, which is his city that he locked away. Like the plague city, like to keep it from spreading. Like very, very sad about that, right? And he trusted the university to sort of keep this thing safe as they worked on a cure. And he's sort of like flipping through some paperwork. So he's just got this permanent scowl on his face as they're talking about Zahn. And we do that thing in anime where everyone sort of turns and looks as they just see the shock on his face, right?
Yeah. Oh.
Right. And he just sort of looks up and he looks over at Monkfort and he says, Monkfort, you went to Ahsoka to handle the original reign.
Monkfort, can you account for yourself?
Hooded and robed, right? Arms folded across. Says, I met there. Lita Major. Saw a great and terrible storm cloud that I dissipated and moved on. There was no evidence of Zahn having been involved in this situation.
All right. Well, they didn't describe you. They described Zahn. And there was still definitely a great and powerful storm cloud there when I arrived, which I dissipated.
Right in the room, just right. Thornton flips a few papers. He says, yes, we have evidence that Ahsoka once again claimed there was rain. Professor Alberforce, what did they say about Zahn having been there? And everyone's people are beginning to like stand, right? And everyone's sort of risen from the table and everyone's sort of looking at Monk for it.
Well, they said that he had, what did they say? I mean, they said that he came and that they hadn't had rain and that Zahn had come and had created a rain cloud for them, right? Had created this weather system, right?
That might have been this. Yeah, they needed rain, then they had too much rain.
Yeah. Right. And
yeah, Monkford just replies like, I took care of the rain. That was the end of it. Then I returned home.
Is that so?
Yeah, Tragedy finally speaks up. They are a gold-skinned tiefling with very fine, like deer or antelope horns, right? Sort of come sweeping from the top of their head. Says, perhaps we need to go through the list of items. Let us mull this information over. That it seems Zahn is able to move.
I'm going to take a quick step forward.
Yeah,
like mid-sentence. I'm going to cast Detect Magic on Mr. Monkfort to see if he is under the effect of any magical what have you.
Sure. Yeah. So what is your reaction? Is everyone like, it's a little gauche to do in the middle of a secret wizard council, start detecting magic all willy-nilly, right? Is everyone sort of like, oh, hey, whoa, right? Covering themselves as if you went into a locker room.
I mean, people aren't thrilled about it, but desperate times call for desperate measures. The mood is tense.
Okay, so you don't care. You just power through.
Yeah, it's startling, but we're men of action. These are desperate times.
Yeah.
Our council may well have been infiltrated.
Yeah, I mean, do you say that, right, as you're kind of yelling out the ritual?
Perhaps.
As you finish your spell, obviously everyone is magical. You know what I mean? Like, that's just like...
Oh, yeah, no.
This is a very blinding room. Like
situation room, yeah.
This is very much a situation. This is a magical situation room. However, like, when you're inside of it, you can do magic inside of it, right? So as you sort of, like, look at Monkfort, right, and really sort of peel back the layers, kind of staring at this, I think it gives you like the school of magic that exists, right, and stuff like that.
Right.
It's not so much that there's an illusion on Monkfort as it is that Monkfort is an illusion.
Oh.
So I'm not sure what you want to do with that.
I throw a chair through him.
You throw a chair through him?
Yeah.
You just pick up your chair and throw it?
Yeah, I grab my chair and I toss it through him. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the chair hits him and he just clambers to the ground. And once again, the room is like, good God, man, what are you doing? And Monkfort's like, ah!
What?
And he sort of stands up. He's like, you never would have gotten that on me if this was a real combat. And he pounds the table once and he sort of like leaps over the top of it.
Hold on. So he said, well, I thought he was an illusion.
Yeah.
Someone dispel that man.
Okay. Yeah, right. And just like the room descends in just like magical chaos. Just absolute nonsense. Go ahead and roll me 2d20.
All right. I got a 10 and 14.
All right. You can add your Arcana to both of them.
A 17 and a 21.
So as Monkfort like jukes the table, right, just sort of leaps over it and begins running towards you, right? Like all of the other wizards, like protective spells kind of flash up, right? Some of them that don't really care about you just sort of like worry about themselves, right? But Theodolphus and Thornton are very much like by your side, you know what I mean? Begin casting these spells and sort of stripping Monkfort of his abilities. Unfortunately, Monkfort is also a physically powerful person.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Right, he's actually just a large dude as he comes charging towards you. But it does have the added benefit of like, kind of right as he leaps off the table, the glamour finally falls away, and Zahn is just poised, right, charging you, ready to strike you. What do you do?
Oh man.
Like Zahn was just either pretending to be Monkfort, or has always been Monkfort, or
oh geez, oh boy.
right, we just get like that purple sort of glow, that energy, right, and just like, yeah, the Alex vanishes, and just the sleek form of Mads Mikkelsen flying through the air towards you, jaw first.
Jaw with his sharpened teeth. Oh no. I'm gonna try and cast Catapult and hit him with.
Right?
Hit him with a candelabra. Yeah.
It's my save?
It's 13.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Okay, unfortunately, he does make it. Does it do any damage?
No, unfortunately. Damn,
Okay.
it hit 20 points of fucking damage from this first level spell.
That's wild. Yeah, no, it was very close. It was very close.
Yeah. You fed this candelabra in the wall.
Right, and the other two, right, throw in magical energies and everything. So he's just gonna go ahead and try and slip a knife in between you. Well, for our second crit of the night.
Oh my god, you're
it's
killing
just
me.
sort of, yeah. Thoughts on this knife being just like his arm that's sharpened into this like wicked blade, right?
Yeah, I mean that sounds about right.
Yeah.
If we're establishing that part of his bit is that he's like a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
Okay, so I throw the shield spell up. It doesn't help. He goes right through.
12 damage.
Oof, that puts me to 1 hit point.
Yeah, is he? Right, and yeah, double rows of shark's teeth.
Yeah.
And the vicious scar across his eye. Actually, it's this eye, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
You're staring him down. You're staring this grad student down. Though his powers are impressive.
His powers are great.
Yeah. What happens next?
Oh boy. We're all blasting away at him.
Yeah. Okay. So I like that. Why don't you just go ahead and roll one more Arcana just to see like the quality and tone of your magical assault.
I got a 17 plus 7 is a
nice.
24.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean you're just like blowing holes in him and everything, right? His armor's just getting ripped off and destroyed, like his hair is a mess, he's getting all bloodied and everything. And then there is a moment, right, where his eyes sort of flick all around and he's like a little wild right now. And he just says, "Adequate. Good, I was hoping this would be at least a bit of a challenge." And you see what he's doing before you can stop it as he flicks that panic switch in his mind and he word of recalls himself out of town. To sort of just like cross fade into nothing.
Okay. Which works in the because it's word of recall, it works in the panic room. Right?
Yeah.
All right.
And had you not spent the night resurrecting your apprentice, I was going to offer you, right, a flashback of like, yeah, here's this thing. I just want to do this as soon as possible. It's not like the best sell, but just carve this into the wall. But unfortunately.
Right, but I don't. So that is fair. That's a fair trade. But maybe he won't. Maybe this makes him feel like he has even less reason to think that it's been tampered with, right?
Because it works.
Will he discover the tampering?
He'll discover the tampering. I mean, he'll have to recast it is the thing.
Oh, gotcha.
Because it works once, and now he's going to redo it. But like, I mean, there's a little bit of ego for you there, right? Where he's like, he infiltrates your lair and attacks you and doesn't succeed and flees. And then when he gets home, he sees you been in his house, and he's like, oh fuck, like that is pretty cool.
All right, yeah, that's a fair trade to get Wilbur back.
Yeah. Yeah, as he just boink and gone. And then the room is in disarray as many people start yelling and blaming each other. Like, whose responsibility was this? What happened to Monkfort? Why wasn't he screened when he came back? How did Zahn trick all of our auguries, right? Like, just 1,000,001 questions that nobody has answers to.
Yeah, it's very clear that Zahn was already probably a very powerful practitioner long before he arrived here. He came here almost certainly to defraud our institution and abscond with our possessions, which he has done.
Yeah.
What are those things that he has stolen, by the way? Let's get the list out there so that we have it.
Yeah.
Recite the list.
And I think that's probably like the ending scene, right? Is they're just like everyone's hair's a mess, everyone's kind of bloodied, chairs are broken, the table's cracked in half, and you're all sitting at the remnants of it, just going over all the shit he took.
Yeah. And so for the listeners at home, what are the things that he stole?
Yeah. So we have the bindings of Valfar, the Anvil of Mangling.
Oh, no.
We have 11 tomes from the restricted section, including Sublime Agonies and Other Learnings from My Time Among the Cenobites, and the litany.
We just lost all your audio after Sublime Agonies.
Oh no! Sublime Agonies and Other Learnings, My Time Among the Cenobites. The Litany of Righteous Souls, another book. Okay. The Key of Axan, right? Thornton's seal. A Polyphasic Mana Battery.
Oh no, those are so expensive.
An Ouroboros Staff.
Well, he'd need 3 arms to use that. No, he could have 3 arms.
He might have an apprentice. Might just have a 3rd arm.
Might just grow a 3rd arm.
The Nippur Cylinder. And finally, the Thaumatronic Engine. Thaumatronic Engine,
made with the finest Dwemer craft.
Made of the finest Dwemer craft. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 items, 11 books, 2 of them named currently. They're still doing research on the rest.
Yeah.
And then that's not even including however many fog frogs and watches he may have stolen.
Oh, that bastard. Crimes know no bounds. All right. Well. All right. So where do we think he's gone next? And I think that's where we end it there. And then next week we'll have our list of leads. And
right.
Continue the hunt once again. The real Monkfort. In retrospect, it was a little silly that I thought that he was going to just be like, well, I'll just throw a pencil through him and it'll be fucking an illusion.
No,
it is an illusion. And I was like, you got to try. You got to go with you got to try the basics.
It's really funny, right? Like he just whipped a chair at the guy and then he fell over and you're like, oh!
Oh, it was good.
Can you imagine if he was just actually really old and just wanted to seem jacked and you just hit an old man with a chair and that was it?
Listen, I think if there's one thing we've learned about Alberforce is that he does not resort immediately to magic. He's a man who goes with the practical stuff first and then he works his way up.
Right, yeah. Well, of course I threw a chair at him. Needed to see if he was magic.
Yeah, thought it might have been an illusion. Come on. Did anyone see him eat anything or drink anything?
Right. Nobody else seemed to have any ideas.
Come on, people. We're trying to do shit here.
That's good.
I am a powerful wizard.